Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Tuesday, the 10th day of March, and this is CTV News. Tonight, a reversal of fortune. The Houston government rolls back tens of millions in budget cuts. The death of a monster. A Maritime serial killer dies in prison. And oodles of noodles. The food festival with a satisfying slurp.
Live from our Maritime's News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. A flurry of developments today in the ongoing fallout about Nova Scotia's recent budget. Backlash over cuts continued today with another large demonstration outside Province House. That's despite an earlier announcement from the Premier that a sizable number of those cuts were being reversed. CTV's Jesse Thomas kicks off our coverage.
Premier Tim Houston admits his government got it wrong and announced they were reversing $53.6 million in funding cuts made to programs that support people living with disabilities, seniors, and African Nova Scotian and Indigenous students.
There's one kind of rule that I always have kind of had, and I try to instill in my kids too, is like, can I put my hand on my heart and say we did the right thing there? And I think when I put my hand on my heart and I said, what will the impact be on people living with disabilities, I couldn't live with that.
The reversal will see the deficit climb to $1.24 billion, but necessary, said Houston, to protect some of the most vulnerable, who he apologized to today for causing undue stress.
Nova Scotians have spoken clearly. Many people told us that they were worried about certain parts of the budget. Outside the legislature, another massive rally, the third in the last week. More people still worried about cuts, wanting Houston to reverse cuts made to the arts and culture sector.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to see the cuts that did come back today, but I think Tim Houston's under the impression that the arts don't create money. He was big on we need to move forward, we need to generate income.
Opposition leader Claudia Chender says the entire budget should be scrapped and redrawn, calling the process chaotic.
This is a government that went through with cruel cuts, that sent out messaging to their cabinet ministers and MLAs over the weekend to defend and explain those cuts poorly. And now they are feeling some pressure and walking it back.
For now, some cuts reversed, but the budget debate continues. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
I'm Emma Convey at Progress Place in Halifax, one of the 34 agencies in Nova Scotia that support persons with disabilities. 24 hours ago, these groups were faced with tough choices, shrinking programs, increased costs, and what to do next. But after today's announcement, those decisions can be put to rest for now.
We know that operational grants aren't being cut, and we're hopeful that that really means we can continue the essential service work that we're doing.
The Dartmouth Adult Services Centre was looking at a $400,000 cut to their programs.
I think the Premier listened, and that's due to the pressure and the voices and the testimonials of persons with disabilities and their families and supports.
Collectively, these organizations support 2,700 people with intellectual or physical disabilities, and a lot of emotions outside of the legislature as well, from parents whose children rely on these services.
Hoping that he's true to his word. I'm ecstatic that it's happening, but we also need him to stop the other cuts.
Emma Convey, CTV News, Halifax.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Now to the other big story of the day, the death of a serial killer. Alan Leger, I should say, known around here as the monster of the Miramichi, died in prison in Edmonton yesterday. His death has brought back all kinds of memories for scores of New Brunswickers who remember his 7-month rampage when he escaped custody. CTV's Derek Haggett has more.
No, he was a bad guy. That was a place for him. And he's dead now. A lot of people will be happy about that, including myself.
Alan Leger died in an Edmonton prison yesterday. He was 78 years old. He killed 5 people in the late 1980s and terrorized the region.
If you had young children, it was scary to even go outside, you know. That it was a terrifying time. You didn't know where he was.
In 1986, Leger killed a shopkeeper and sexually assaulted his wife. He received a life sentence. Leger escaped custody while at a hospital in Moncton in the spring of 1989. While on the loose for over 6 months, he sexually assaulted and killed 3 women and beat a priest to death. Journalist and author Rick McLean, who wrote extensively about Leger, remembers the time vividly.
We had no Halloween that year. Kids weren't allowed to go outside. The clubs were empty because people were afraid. Everyone was hunkering down, terrified.
Leger was caught in November of 1989 and eventually convicted on 4 counts of first-degree murder. Even though Alan Leger was in a maximum security prison for decades, there was a fear, a reluctance to talk about the man. That wasn't the case today.
Now people in the community might be willing to talk about it because for all these years, people have been saying no. Reporters have come and gone, trying to get people to talk about their feelings. People were afraid to be singled out.
Well, I just remember that whereas people used to keep their doors unlocked all the time, all of a sudden they were all locking the doors and making sure, you know, that if they didn't have guns, that they were getting guns.
Leger was denied full parole last December. The cause of his death has not been released, but the Correctional Service of Canada will review the circumstances. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Miramichi, New Brunswick.
Okay, just before we go any further tonight, we'll check in with Kaylin in the Weather Center because we do have some weather heading our way for a large number of us.
Yes, that's right. And this one's sort of like a spring classic here in the Maritimes. And then it's going to be a mix of some snow, ice pellets, freezing rain, and rain. Sort of tiered or layered in the Maritimes, like a cake almost. You can see the snow is expected to mostly accumulate in northern areas of New Brunswick. There's some winter storm warnings in effect there. We'll take a look at those in a moment. And then as you get down to central and southern areas of New Brunswick, it's going to be more of a mixture of ice pellets and freezing rain. Same thing goes for parts of Prince Edward Island. And then the milder part of the weather system, which is closer to the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia and to the southwest of that province, it's mostly expected to be rain, drizzle, and fog. So let's take a look at things in a little bit more detail. Here are some of the weather warnings that have been issued by Environment Canada. In through the red across the north of New Brunswick, that's a winter storm warning calling for the potential of 15 to 25 centimeters of snow and ice pellets. Now through central areas of New Brunswick, through the lighter blue, that's a freezing rain warning. Now initially there may be some ice pellets and snow, but that is expected to turn over Wednesday evening and night to about 4 to 8 hours of freezing rain. Southernmost areas of New Brunswick, as well as Prince County and Prince Edward Island, also could see 2 to 4 hours of freezing rain Wednesday evening and night before temperatures warm up enough Thursday morning that it turns over to some rain, drizzle, and fog. I want to talk more about the impacts of freezing rain. Ice accretion is the issue, and that's the collection of ice on the surfaces. And parts of New Brunswick highlighted there in through the orange. Maybe we could see 5 to 10 millimeters of ice accretion. And that'll create some icy, slippery surfaces, and also the possibility that there's enough ice weight on things like branches, they get weighed down a little bit, and if they contact power lines or break in contact power line, that can lead to some isolated power outages. Remember, this weather system as well is impacting areas from Ontario, Quebec, into here in the Maritimes. There's going to be some very icy conditions expected for parts of the St. Lawrence River Valley in through Quebec, as well as the Ottawa Valley in Ontario. So if you're traveling that way, you definitely want to take a look at the weather alerts in place for that part of the country as well, so you can anticipate the type of conditions you're headed in towards. I'm going to be talking more about this weather system a little bit later on. Bruce.
All right, thank you, Kaylin. Full forecast coming up. One person has died, another in serious condition after a stabbing incident in Uptown Saint John last night. Police called just before 8 p.m. where they found 2 male victims, a 46-year-old who later died from his injuries, and a 44-year-old who remains in serious condition.
They located an unconscious male and a conscious male who had both sustained serious injuries. There was a third male party on site that was arrested immediately by police.
A 36-year-old remains in custody, charged with 1 count of second-degree murder, 1 count of attempted murder. The investigation is ongoing. An early morning well-being check in Cape Breton resulted in the seizure of more than 1 million unstamped cigarettes. This happened Saturday morning at a gas station not far from Member 2. Police say officers checked on a person who was kind of slumped over the steering wheel inside a van that was parked, and they could see cigarettes in plain view in the back of the vehicle. 51-year-old woman from Peterborough, Ontario, facing charges after 160 cases of illegal tobacco and approximately 1.6 million cigarettes were seized from the van. Nova Scotians handed another sizable jump in gas prices last night, third time this week, thanks to the war in Iran. At midnight, the Nova Scotia Energy Board again used its interrupter clause to boost the price of a liter of regular self-serve by 9.3 cents a liter. Price in Halifax now 1.62. The war in Iran pushed oil prices to $120 a barrel yesterday.
The increase was not at all of a surprise. I mean, you're up 20 cents a liter in a week and a half.
With global conflict affecting oil markets, we may continue to see this volatility, which of course creates a lot of uncertainty for our members, for trucking companies in general.
Oil prices did fall later after Donald Trump suggested the war could be winding down soon. Prices will be adjusted in PEI tonight at midnight. The performance of Atlantic Canada's only nuclear generating station has been a key focus so far during public hearings for NB Power's request for a rate hike of 4.75%. CTV's Nick Moore is covering those hearings.
Good morning, panel.
At today's Public Energy and Utilities Board hearing, NB Power management took questions about Point Lepreau, its string of unexpected shutdowns, and the effect it is having on affordability. A support services agreement between NB Power and Laurentis, a division of Ontario Power, will see nuclear engineers and experts from Laurentis work out of Point Lepreau this spring until 2029.
What certainty do the members of this panel have that this Laurentis agreement will be a good deal for New Brunswickers?
What we have been doing has not brought us to where we want to be. And so we have to do something different. We have to do something different if we expect that we're going to get high levels of sustained performance.
The agreement announced in October is worth $25 million each year, with room for up to $8 million in improvement bonuses. Darren Murphy says NB Power did explore the idea of striking some kind of joint ownership of Point Lepreau.
Unfortunately, timing's everything, and, to think about or talk about the sale of a station when it's struggling performance-wise is just not an adequate nor responsible time to think about sales.
The EUB public hearings continue tomorrow. Nick Moore, CTV News, Saint John.
All right, still to come tonight, Kaylin's full forecast, and we'll examine the reaction now that TikTok has been cleared to continue operating here in Canada. Coming up next, though, a Made in the Maritimes medical technology.
Something I'm very proud of. I think our whole team is really excited about.
It's an ingenious idea that's helped scores of doctors deal with a tight problem. Details are next. Stay with us.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter.
Oscars coming up. What iconic movie have you never seen? Tomorrow at 6.
And folks, get on Aaron and Peter's payroll. Win hundreds of dollars. You can do that on our website, move100halifax.ca.
Now to a unique Made in the Maritimes medical device. A doctor in Dartmouth has come up with an effective way to deal with a fairly common problem: rings that won't come off your finger. His device is not only in hospitals right across North America, it is also making a Hollywood debut as well. CTV's Vanessa Wright has the story.
It may not seem like a common problem, but Dr. Kevin Spencer says you'd be surprised.
There's millions of healthcare encounters that have been required as a result of stuck rings. So it actually is a very common problem.
In fact, of the 55% of the adult population that wears rings, 70% have experienced some level of ring entrapment or stuck ring. A quarter of them end up at the hospital, but it's not necessarily a quick fix.
What's happened is that modern durable ring metals like titanium, tungsten, and stainless steel evolved, and the tools to handle stuck rings didn't.
Leaving medical providers with these kinds of tools to fix the problem.
It's dangerous. It causes heat, which can burn the finger. The sparks are dangerous, and one slip, you can cut the finger.
So in 2018, Spencer co-founded Ring Rescue in hopes of offering a less invasive way of removing stuck rings.
So the finger remains very, very safe through this process.
The device is now in every emergency room in Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. It's also being used at more than 2,000 hospitals across North America, including at the Mayo Clinic and the Cleveland Clinic.
Where's my son?
But perhaps its most anticipated appearance will come later this week when it will be featured in the latest episode of The Pit, the popular medical drama seen on Crave.
To be able to have our product on there is really, really cool. It's something I'm very proud of. I think our whole team is really excited about. And I think it's a great local win as well, to take a local invention and get into what's arguably the top show on television right now.
An even greater sense of pride knowing the answer to a unique problem was answered right here at home. Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Dartmouth.
Thank you, Vanessa. Time for a quick little break, but when we return, it's your complete maritime weather forecast. Just about the middle of the week already, hey? Kaylin's got all the details when we come back. Heading into the end of the 10th day of March, it was Tuesday around here, Tuesday to remember for all the right reasons.
That's right.
I would argue, but, you know, that's me.
Sunny, very warm today. Record-setting high temperatures for parts of the Maritimes. Boy, weather can turn fast in the month of March. And tomorrow, we've got that snowy, icy mix that's going to be developing for parts of the Maritimes. First thing in the morning, no real big issues around the Maritimes. Partly cloudy with some fog patches. Chillier temperatures, though. It's a north and northeast wind, returning some colder air to the region tonight. Then as we make our way into and through Wednesday afternoon, it's that mixture of snow, ice pellets, and freezing rain developing in the province of New Brunswick. There's even a chance by late afternoon that some of that snowy, icy mix could reach areas of Prince Edward Island, increasing cloudiness for Nova Scotia at that time. Weather conditions for Wednesday evening and Wednesday night. Snow, ice pellets in the north of New Brunswick. Ice pellets turning over to freezing rain for central parts of that province. Snow, ice pellets turning over to freezing rain for Prince Edward Island. Later Wednesday evening and night, there'll be a risk of some lighter freezing rain in northern eastern areas of Nova Scotia, with the remainder of that province getting into some rain, drizzle, and fog that will continue for Thursday. Additionally, Thursday morning, those areas still seeing an icy mix in New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. We'll see temperatures rise through the morning hours, so by the time we get to around noon, just turning over to some lighter rain before that weather system clears out. We talked about the risk of the freezing rain earlier and some of the impacts that can have, but I don't want to sleep on the potential for the snow and the ice pellet accumulation in the north of New Brunswick either. In some cases, it may be as much as 15 to 25 centimeters and will probably be quite heavy to move out of the way. Winds in the forecast for tonight becoming north and northeast. Tomorrow's winds out of the east and southeast and increase into the afternoon to become a little bit blustery with some of the gusts between 30 and 60 kilometers per hour. Low temperatures in the forecast for tonight for a good portion of the region, falling to and at least a few degrees below the freezing mark, several degrees below zero for northern areas of New Brunswick, where tomorrow the high temperatures top out between -3 and -5. Central and southern areas of New Brunswick for tomorrow with high temperatures mostly between -3 and 0, except close to the Bay of Fundy coastline, there between 1 and 3 degrees. Prince Edward Island on Wednesday with high temperatures between -1 and -3. In Cape Breton, the high temperatures between -1 and +2, and between 0 and 3 degrees for the North Shore and the Eastern Shore. Cumberland, Colchester counties for tomorrow with highs between 0 and 3 degrees. Halifax County with highs mostly between 3 and 5. The Annapolis Valley with high temperatures near 6 degrees, 7 for Digby on the south shore of Nova Scotia, near 4 for Bridgewater, Liverpool, and Shelburne, and 6 degrees for Yarmouth. Let's take a look at the 7-day outlook for New Brunswick. So getting in behind the snowy, icy mix Wednesday to Thursday morning. It's a mix of sun and cloud. Temperatures a little bit cooler for Friday. There is some snow in the forecast for the start of the weekend on Saturday. Sunday, increasing cloudiness with some snow possible Sunday night before turning over to rain on Monday. It's followed by a chance of flurries on Tuesday of next week. For Nova Scotia in the forecast, rain, drizzle, and fog for Thursday. And then on Friday, early in the morning, a chance of some flurries as the last of that system clears out and temperatures turn a little bit chillier. A mixture of snow and rain on Saturday, followed by a mix of sun and cloud on Sunday, and then some rain and some showers in the forecast for Monday and Tuesday of next week. And for Prince Edward Island in the forecast, Thursday morning, still a risk of some freezing rain for western parts of the province, and then turns over to some rain, drizzle, and fog. A mix of sun and cloud for Friday, snow turning over to rain on Saturday, A mix of sun and cloud on Sunday for the end of the weekend, and then some rain and showers in the forecast for Monday and Tuesday of next week, Bruce.
Thank you, my friend. We'll see you again tomorrow. Okay, stay with us. Be right back. So TikTok is allowed to stay in Canada after all. The new ruling that came this week is good news for those who use the app, and especially those who actually make a living with it. Still, as CTV's Hafsa Arif tells us tonight, not everybody is satisfied with the decision.
Hi, it's Tuesday, and we're going to do another.
For Silk Route owner Kayleen Jan, this is how people discover her shop.
I find 90% of my customers right now who are coming into the store have found me through my social media.
TikTok has become a powerful marketing tool for small businesses, especially those selling niche products. Without it, Jan believes many customers wouldn't even know her shop exists.
A lot of the items that I have in the store are really unique pieces.
Talk of a potential ban in 2024 left many entrepreneurs worried, but now TikTok can continue operating in Canada under regulations.
For me, the big question still isn't being answered. And the big security question was, can the Chinese government force this private company to give them the information? And the answer is yes, underneath the Chinese government rules.
For some content creators, the bigger concern isn't business, but kids.
Just glad to know that they are taking the threat seriously and that they are paying attention to where our information is going and who has our information.
Back at Silk Route, Jan says regardless of the debate around security, for many small businesses trying to get noticed, TikTok has been a great tool. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Hafsa. Time for one final break. Coming up, oodles of noodles. It is a fun festival that will leave you with a craving, guaranteed. It's next. Stay with us.
To live. Our mission is to inspire you to live happy and healthy lives through generosity, fitness, and achieving the extraordinary. Join us and support our charities. Get inspired at givetolive.ca and achieve your extraordinary.
If you love noodles, Quinpool Road in Halifax has oodles of noodles. CTV's Brianne Foley serves up all the delicious details tonight.
Slurping noodles is a welcome sound on Quinpool Road in Halifax.
Oodles of Noodles has been going now for 3 years. It just keeps getting bigger and better, and every year we have more restaurants participating. This year we are doing Oodles of Noodles from March 11th to the 17th, and we have 11 participating restaurants on the street doing just about every kind of noodle you can think of.
Morris East owner Jenny Dobbs cooked up the savory celebration 3 years ago, and customers keep coming back.
I thought Quinpool Road has such a wonderful array of restaurants that offer some of the best noodle dishes in the city, and it was an event that we could all participate in and showcase some of our best dishes.
One many businesses on Quinpool jumped on because the noodle is versatile.
We wanted to celebrate all the different cultural restaurants we have on the street, so we tried to come up with a type of dish that was easy and not very expensive.
Each restaurant features a new or staple dish at an appetizing price.
Still in a month where people want comfort food, we didn't want to interfere with Burger Week or Dine Around, and we also wanted to try and catch the beginning of March break. It is National Noodle Month, so see, we are so chic.
Brianne Foley, CTV News, Halifax.
Go have some noodles. It's National Noodle Month. Okay, that's your late news for tonight. If you joined us late or you'd like another look at anything you've seen, ctvnewsatlantic.ca is your home for news. I'm Bruce Frisco. Thank you for staying up late with us tonight. Have a good evening, and we sure hope to see you again tomorrow.